Hello everyone, welcome back. So let's talk about some datum feature references. Now, the first thing you need to realize is that making a datum feature reference actually does nothing to the fabrication requirements of your part, unless some reference is made to that datum. It's more or less like you giving directions to somebody to a place they're not planning on going. Well, you can get to the church by taking two lefts and a right. Okay. And if you want to go to the grocery store, it's actually just past that on the right past the, you'll see it right on the right. Cool. And you can keep on telling them directions to various places, but they don't care. They're not trying to go any of those places, so they don't really need to know it. So your datum feature references, all these that we're making, they only matter when we actually have a feature control frame that looks at them and says, well, you're supposed to measure from there. Now, the number of references we have is going to depend on what kind of tolerance we have. Like a form tolerance doesn't have any references. Orientation has to have at least one, and as we go further, we'll need more and more tolerance, or more and more references. And we choose those references based on the degree of freedom that need to be constrained. If I'm going to accurately measure this particular thing, then I have to constrain it in some way, shape, or form. So be very, very careful about your order precedence. I said this a few times, and each of these would do something different. And you have to remember that because it's going to change what's your primary datum, what's your secondary datum, and what's your tertiary datum. And if you choose wrong, you're going to make it harder. Make it harder to measure, and it's going to be costlier because it's going to take more time. Like, for example, in most cases, a large flat surface is going to be your primary datum A. And then edge surfaces would be your datums B and C, or the secondary and the tertiary datum. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's usually the easiest thing to do. So if it's the easiest thing to do, you're trying to make it simple on the people who are testing and creating your parts. And so you should try to do that, because otherwise you're going to increase the cost. But whichever one you choose, it's going to change things. So if my flat surface was not primary, if it was secondary for some reason, I would only need 2 points of contact there. And I would need 3 points on my secondary plane. On this back surface if it was primary. So it's going to change how much is being touched, how much is being held, how much it has to come in contact with things, all based on what I say need to be my references, my datum references. So be careful with that. Think about that as you're going through this. Because, for example, if this one right here is only connecting at 2 points, to make it connect at 3, I might have to horribly angle it to get it to make that third point of contact, which might bring this entire bottom surface off of this feature, or off of that simulator, which is okay if that's the tertiary. It only needs a single point. But maybe that flat surface is the best place to measure from, and you've made a mistake by saying, well, measure from this as the primary one. They're not just interchangeable. It's going to change something if you switch around your datum references. So be careful about that. Think about that. And you'll see some fairly soon of different, like base cases that you're going to see quite often. Okay. So that's enough for this time. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.